Hello there, and welcome to another episode of A Thought in Progress, subtitled I Have Something to Say. I had a couple about 4 or 5 issues or things I want to talk about today. These are distracting, so I'm going to take them off. Um, I want to break down why exactly I do these videos and what their purpose really is. Um, it's a personal thing. I use them to grow in confidence, to organize my thought patterns, to organize how I speak, to be more comfortable, being visible, if you will. Um, and then also, I I would like to think that I add some confidence to the viewer, some encouragement to the viewer to be able to find their voice. Um, the title says it all. The subtitle. I have something to say, right? Just kind of trying to find my voice, trying to encourage people to find theirs, to speak truth to power, um, to you know, um, to become more confident, and be able to speak what's on their mind. And also, the other part of it is, having a mental health condition. For me, that means I need to start as I kind of get better and improve my mental health. I want to focus more on trusting myself, trusting my mind, trusting my ideas, being more comfortable to be able to express my ideas to other people. And I encourage everyone to try and work on those same skills, especially those with mental health conditions. But even if you don't have a mental health condition, we all have issues, we all have problems, and I think it's an important skill for anybody to have to be able to um, properly word what they want to say and get things done with some grace, some great gracefully. Um, to not be unilateral, to be multilateral, to include other people in your recovery process, your idea formations, and your so that we can all move forward, not just me, not just you, but us together. And they call it lift as you climb. So I'm improving myself, and then my day job at work, at the hospital, is trying to model that for other people, and as I move along, help them move along as well. It's not that different from cat herding. Okay, that was a bad joke. Anyway, um, so so an idea I had, I'm probably stealing it from someone. No ideas are really original if you think about it. They're all taken or stolen or, you know, um, extracted from the world around us. So I probably saw this online, probably social media, talking about um, the idea of the invincible being on the inside of you, so that you can say, "I know the invincible." So what does that mean? It means, it means I'm not contingent on the outside world of telling me who I am, of being responsible for my happiness, being responsible. I'm not contingent on the outside world being responsible for my wellness. That's an inner work. That's an inner thing, um, and it seems simple, but it's not. Um, we all have to work on inner strength, inner resilience. Thicker skin, being able to turn the other cheek, to use a Christian phrase, um, so that we can know the invincible is on the inside of us, and we can be more confident and be more visible in moving about our world. And if we have that power on the inside of us, that joy and happiness that are inner, self-generated, um, in the inner parts of our being, our external world is going to start to mirror and shift, and that can help redefine how we move about in our lives, and it can help to mold our outer experience if we start from the inside, as opposed to what a lot of materialist capitalist philosophies are, that we need to control our outside world to control ourselves. It's actually the other way around in my experience. Um, I did mention last video, last episode, I did talk about wanting to discuss the idea of the void and what that would be. And it sounds like, oh, that's a really cool idea, but I have no idea what it means. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that um, in, I guess, psychological terms. The void is kind of um, the world without human consciousness, and then we project through our consciousness onto the world and kind of create our world that way. And that sounds weird, I know, but if you think about the concept of time or the concept of place, concept of space, all think about that. They're all concepts, they're all ideas formed by the human mind, right? What's between these two ears kind of defines our outer realm. So the void is just a fancy way of saying if I wasn't here, or if humans weren't here with their consciousness, there would be no form, no organization to the world. That it would just kind of be, because if we break it down into the subatomic level, right? These are just not neurons, but protons and neutrons and electrons just kind of bouncing off each other. And then I go and I say, okay, this is my apartment. See how that mind power is? You know? Otherwise, it would just be a building. So I'm taking the building and I'm turning it into my apartment by the ideas I have and by the expectations I have in my consciousness. Um, the idea of the void is no different. We have the outside world, it's a void. I'm naming it something, and it then is that thing organized into that thing. So, um, think about America, right? We have this land, this physical land, then we call it a country, now we call it the earth, now we call it America. But at the end of the day, the earth and the land itself does not know that humans, with their consciousness, has named it America or Earth, or that we've named our solar system or the different planets. I think you get my point, and I'm not going to go into it any further. I'll let you think about that and munch on it in your minds. Um, and a couple other things, and I know this is a long video, but well, maybe not long, but a lot of stuff kind of put together. But the overall theme is one of organization. I'd like to talk a little bit more about the social aspects of my job and what they've kind of, what the challenges there have been and what I've kind of learned from that, and then I'll share. So I'm sharing that with you. Um, for me, I've learned a lot to sit more with myself, to use a Buddhist term, and be comfortable with some uncomfortable thoughts and feelings that get generated that are not always not always understandable, and they don't always make sense. But if I find myself at work and an intrusive thought comes along, let's just call them that. Maybe it's sexual, maybe it's something else that just doesn't make sense. I kind of say to myself, okay, I'm losing my mind right now, but that's not different than any other time, and that's kind of funny. But the point being that I don't compromise my social viability by the way of those intrusive thoughts. So I'm still aware of the social world. Yes, I'm having this thought that I don't want to have anything to do with, and it's really bothering me. But I'm not going to disengage from my social environment around me. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to stay me. I'm going to stay social, and I'm going to stay viable. And let's call it that. And you know where those intrusive thoughts come from? Complex trauma, lots of times. So I had a lot of trauma in my childhood for various reasons. Trauma happens. It's life. It's messy, and people make mistakes and blah, 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 blah. And people really did harm me, and I have to acknowledge that. Sometimes it was the people that I loved the most that did the most harm, and I think that's for everyone across the board. That's just how it works. Um, What you do with that, and whether you continue to be able to love, is what turns that around and transforms a negative into a positive, right? Um, so that being said, the intrusive thoughts, you can also let's call that the realm of doubt caused by complex trauma. Shame and blame goes there too. Inability to hold eye contact, inability to communicate, overall helplessness, feelings of helplessness and hopelessness. All those things are learned by us as a way to preserve ourselves in the face of complex trauma. Okay? And I will leave that there. We may talk more about that next time. But I don't want to get ahead of myself or my thought processes. As you can tell, this is called a thought in progress for a reason. And some final thoughts. My book, the first two installments are still available as ebooks. The third installment is done. It is finished in its writing. It just needs edited. The plan is to edit all three installments and put them together in a paperback. So be on the lookout for that. My website was just redone, so check out jasontapscott.com. My ebooks are available on amazon.com. If you have your Amazon Kindle, you should be able to download them. I believe they're even available as free with the what do they call that? The unlimited Kindle package. So you check that out. And please be on the lookout for the paperback. I'm hoping to have it out sometime over the summertime. Okay? All right. Thank you and have a good day.